5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go!
Ready, set, go. Welcome to the second ever telemetric and commentary overlay. Welcome to the 5th annual Gravel Locos here in 2025. I've been to every one of these events over the years, beginning back in 2021, so it's really fun to see the impact that Gravel Locos has on the town of Heiko. They make big donations to the local fire department year over year. It's neat to see a race like this have a really, really big impact, so that's fun. Hey, front and center and a little bit to the left, you got 3 Pas Normal teammates, an interesting new addition to the race. This is a very international field, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. Right there at my 11 o'clock is my wife, Laura. So, believe it or not, despite seeing only women so far, this is a mass start. There's plenty of dudes behind me. I'm going to take you through a handful of key moments throughout the race, so hopefully you enjoy the next 15, 20 minutes. We'll see how long this shakes out. I think it's about 15 minutes of entertainment. So here we are, rolling through the town of Heiko. Heiko is minuscule. It's about 2 blocks by 2 blocks, but in a way it's reminding me of Bentonville in that you have some wealthy, benevolent people who are really investing in the town. So there on the left is a beautiful B&B Inn. Up on the right 1 block is a magnificent restaurant, O'Maline's. Really cool boutiques and restaurants and bars, and go to the Green Canoe Outfitters. Cool spot there. Anyway, Heiko, no one's ever heard of it, and if you're in the gravel world, everybody's heard of it, courtesy of this event. So it is extraordinarily hot. Over the course of the 5 years, I've seen a little bit of everything. Adam Roberge making his way to the front. The first year was cold and wet and rainy, despite being the same time of year, and today we know it's going to be absolutely scorching. So it's an interesting protocol. There on my left, you see Nicky Terpstra with 3 water bottles. Adam Roberge directly in front of me literally has 5 water bottles on his person. A lot of people with hydration packs. The 1 liter bottles have become commonplace. We fast forwarded a little bit. Here we are approaching 8 miles in, and therefore approaching one of the key points of the race. So watch the power spike up a little bit over the course of the next mile or 2. You can see a little bit more zip in the pace as things are shaking up. There's Brennan Wirtz on my left, Lawrence Tendam on my right, a handful of Pas Normal riders, Nicky Terpstra up there, a whole bunch of Dutch dudes. Adne, I think is his name right there in the blue jersey, young kid coming out of the Netherlands, just got 5th at Traka. So what we are doing is we are approaching the river crossing. In years past, when there's been high water, we've ridden out this first 8 miles neutral, and then we've done a neutral passing of the river because it's been waist high or more. But we pre-rode the race, the course yesterday, not the course, the first handful of miles, so that people can be accustomed to this. And zipping down here into the river crossing, we know it's only, half foot deep. So I rode the left line yesterday, and I thought well of it today. This is what it looks like, a little bit of the mayhem behind me, so I'm really happy with the line that I took in, and being, 3rd, 4th, 5th rider in, so as to avoid any kind of carnage. Never know what's going to happen 8 miles in. People, of course, are still fresh. That's actually Emily Newsom there on my left, so she's coming out in terrific position. Another Pas Normal rider up front and center. There goes Nicky Terpstra again. I just hit my peak power of the day at a zesty 899 watts. So, coming out of this, not much is happening right here. We can fast forward a little bit, coming off the gas a little bit as people are readjusting. Brennan races a very aggressive race there in the Stars and Stripes jersey. This is probably 3 miles shy of where the actual race-winning move, the breakaway of the day goes. The guy in the all-white jersey, Alexander Miller, is coming from Namibia. There goes Jasper Okeleon. I mean, the Dutch Mafia is thick and fast. Here we are at this next section that I thought would be kind of interesting for you to see. Here we are, 42 miles in. So what, we're about a third of the way through the race. There on my left is Ivar Slick. Look to the left of his left knee, right about there. One of the Pause Normal riders goes down, and it looks really bad, to be honest. I've seen plenty of crashes in my days. We live in a gawking society, so let's relive that. We can relive it because the positive news is he ends up okay, and he actually puts together a nice result. But he crashes really hard. He is still sliding here because we're doing high 20s, 30 miles an hour, loose gravel, downhill, just shy of this, they call it stream crossing. Everybody's racing, everybody's white-fisted on the handlebars. It's like, well, that's a conundrum. What do you do? Does the whole group turn around and say, hey, how are you? Do you want to get back racing? You know, coming out of this little climby bit, my point being, road opens up and you will see Ramon Sinkeldam, the eventual winner of the race. There he is on the right. You can see him reaching into his pocket because he's fresh off the world tour. He's reaching in his pocket to get his phone out to be like, what do we do? Do we call paramedics? Do we do something? And then there's Mads Wertz there in the center looking back. That's his teammates on Pause Normal. He says, no, he's actually okay. And thankfully he was. But yeah, it's sort of a testament to what do you do? I don't have the right answer. There are a whole bunch of feed zones here. So soon after that section, we could have gone through and warned people, hey, there was a pretty nasty accident back there, but I don't know, it's sort of like we need to look out for one another is as good advice as any, and knowing, as Mads did, that his teammate was okay, I think was a real nice testament as opposed to seeing something catastrophic. So this next point is 52 miles in, as you see in the bottom center of the screen. We are 5 feet above sea level, according to the green monitor there in the bottom middle as well. We are now on this gradual climb. I am third wheel, which I'm happy with. Probably in a group of, I don't know, 15 or so. Nothing terribly interesting, but this is reaching as crescendo. This is approaching the 3 Bs, as it's locally known. The 3 kids cover your ears, the 3 bitches. These are 3 back-to-back-to-back, really short, steep, tough climbs. We're in Texas Hill Country. You can see it right there in the distance. Watch the elevation slowly creep up. We're at 92 feet, so we've climbed about 100 feet. That's Frank Bettini leading it out. He's on Pause Normal Team Enough, along with Mattia De Marchi, as opposed to the Pause Normal Elite Team, or whatever they're called. So I've always come out of this section fine. Punchline, I don't come out of this section as fine. There goes Mads Wertz. He is, as I was talking to him, he raced in the World Tour last year, and he has for the past 7 years. He says he's more fit now than he's been in the past 7 years. There goes Ivar Slick on the left, Nicky Terpstra front and center. There goes Mattia De Marchi, another Pause Normal, eventual second place finisher Alex, right there in the white kit. Very fresh looking kit. Probably halfway up now. There goes eventual winner, Ramon on the left. Again, fresh out of the World Tour. He was racing for Alpecin de Koenig last year. So, okay, I've just done what? A little bit less than 600 watts for, I don't know what that was, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. That move is gone. It is 99 degrees out. In the wet bulb temperature, whatever they call it, wet bulb globe temperature, I bet it's 1,000 degrees. That heart rate you see there, 171, I have a very low heart rate, courtesy of racing my bike for 20 years. We're fast forwarding through this section as we watch the front group go away. I felt like, I was just exploded there. And I'm not the kind of rider who looks down at my heart rate monitor and cycling computer and say, oh, okay, I need to rev the governor, or, let off the gas here, but I'm just wrecked. So that was the first of the Bs. I'm in this little group that's chasing come down this section. I wish, okay, we're out of fast forwarding now. This is real speed. I wish I was off the brakes here because I know the course well and I know that we can be flying through here. I bet I would have gotten up to like 40, which would have helped a minuscule amount, but I actually, truth be told, know that the front group is out of sight. Sorry, they're out of mind, even though you can see them right there in the next of the B, the second of the Bs. So here's where you see team tactics. The dude on the right is on team SWAT, of which there's 3, I think. There on the left is Paz Normal. I want to say there's 4 Paz Normal riders. They're going off the front is Chase Collins, a Texan, one of 3 Americans in the elite men's category. So look at that, what, we're up nearly 18%, high teens, mid-teens, high teens, percentile as you see on the right. Like you need to stay seated because it's fairly loose gravel. You stand and you're gonna have a little problem like I did there a little bit. There's Frank, he's come on back. Francesco. So that is the second B done. Still not feeling my greatest. Heart rate's not up at 171, so that's just as well. I think there's 4 riders behind me, so we're still in a little group here. Still kind of feeling ambitious, like we can catch the leaders possibly. Going to the next descent very fast and into the final of the Bs, which is straight ahead. But at this point, we're kind of recognizing that like the people who, you know, those who are ahead are only going farther ahead. You can see one rider off in the distance who's in that lead group just cresting the top of the climb. And the next time you see a silhouette on the horizon, those are actually photographers. So don't get too excited thinking that we're catching them. Again, 11%, 12%, 13%. Right ahead of me is Tobias Longstad. That's not his name. Tobias Kongstad races for that Paz Normal team. Just won Traka 350. That's my buddy Jim.
Thank you.
Who, at least you get some good photos out of it. These are from Velo Photo Mark. Thank you, Mark. Last one is by my buddy Jim. Thanks, Jim. Working hard. And we're off and running again. So, you know, it's the third of the Bs that I'm just wrecked. You can watch my heart rate. I mean, when I'm in the high 160s, that means I'm not doing well. And I'm not really recovering because, okay, as I drop to mid 160s, it's just like, I'm in trouble here. So having sat on for a minute or whatever, 3, 4, 5, Tobias looks back, tells me to get on through, makes fun of me. Might have had a choice word or two for him. I mean, I'm just seeing cross-eyed and feeling like I'm done. Like, I don't like racing in 100-degree heat. I find this very challenging. He's not wrong. I understand where he's coming from. He doesn't want to just drag me along for the next 60 miles. So let's get going again. Fast forward a little bit. That is Jonas. We're going to reel in Norwegian rider. Norwegian privateer. He's been over for like 3 or 4 of these. I often end up riding with him here. I often end up riding with him at Unbound. So, fun to see Jonas again. This group will swell a little bit. LTD is going to meet up with us. And onward we race. It's really interesting, the whole team tactic thing, though. I mean, like, as much as independent privateers will say, okay, we're racing for ourselves, like there is an element of team tactics taking place. People aren't chasing down their teammates, so it is becoming more and more difficult to be a one-off rider, which I don't need to go too long into that here, but it's not my favorite aspect of modern gravel. We're chasing, we got a long way to go. This is more of the flatter portion of the course. The course this year is characterized by screaming headwind south and a pretty ripping tailwind north. Somewhere between where you just saw in the finish line, Lawrence Tindam and I decided to go swimming. And that was the best decision of the day. Cool our temperature off. So here we are, fast forward to 96 miles in. We've picked up Nikki Terpstra, who the pictures are circling the internet of him in an ice cooler. This is the same stop in which we found him with his feet. He was standing in a cooler, like a tub of ice cooler, up to his shins in lots of ice and water. So that was kind of hilarious. But obviously he was overheating. So here we are picking off some shorter distance riders, still not riding easy, as we have, what, 20 miles to go at this point. I end up riding in for 15th. Those two ahead of me are 13th and 14th. I am the third the second of 3 American finishers, which is something I want to talk about, just the internationality of this race. Here we are in finishing order, based on country. Netherlands, Namibia, Belgium, Netherlands, Italy, Denmark, Canada, Netherlands, USA, Denmark, Denmark, Norway, Netherlands, Netherlands, USA, USA, Italy, Switzerland. This race, man, it's cool to see the internationality of it. The top Swiss rider there that I just mentioned, she was from the Paz Normal team. You know, it's cool to see people using this race as a time to experience North American gravel and to get ready for, obviously, Unbound. This is the first year that Unbound has been just 1 week later, so I'm happy with them there at Gravel Locos, shortening it to the 110 mile distance, which actually turned out to be 118, but as opposed to 150, 160 miles in length 2 weeks prior. I am a big fan of this 110 mile distance 1 week prior. Not everybody will agree. Can't please all the people all the time, but that's how my race shook out. The only thing I was thinking of in the final 2 hours was this ice cream. So anytime you see the Untapped Maple Creamy truck, make sure you grab a creamy and have the best ice cream of your life. That's it, that's all. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I have some more coverage in the future. Bye-bye.